Here I'm going to take you through the website analytics toolbox, i.e. the tools that I think are essential for every business to have tracking their website visitors. I'm going to start off with an obvious one that most people have got, Google Analytics. A lot of people have got it, not many people use it in detail, and you can get very detailed with it. However, it doesn't go into the depth of some other tools, so it is limited to a certain extent. But it is important because you need to link up with other systems sometimes, and Google Analytics tends to be the glue that does that. For example, if you want to build an audience of website visitors and want to remarket to them, you would generally set that up within Analytics. But in the basics, there's lots of things you can look at. It is overwhelming, but you can look at things like user acquisition. For example, did they come from organic search, paid search, direct, all sorts of different things that they're going to come from. Tells you how many there were, how many were new, how many came back to the website, and important things like what was the engagement time when they were actually on the website coming from those particular sources. In this case, 1 minute 16 from paid search and 1 minute 32 from organic search. And you can go into a lot of information within here. Like, for example, if we wanted to look at the engagement of people who landed on certain pages of the website over a period of time, we could do that. And this is effectively telling us here that slash means the home page. So for the home page, 207 sessions, which is 150 users, 1 minute, 1 second on the home page. Whereas this particular page, guide to pricing, 1 minute, 23 seconds, you start to build up a bit of a picture. And although it's only showing 10 on there, you can look at more people that the pages people landed on and where they went to. And you can do similar for the actual pages overall. You can get a feel for when people get to certain pages, what do they do when they're on there. So there's a lot of sort of basic level information, and you can look at things over a period of time. However, it's not as friendly as other systems, which I will come to, that show you more of the detail level of what people are looking at. It's better for a general idea of what's going on, but it is still important to have nevertheless. Google Search Console is free, as was Google Analytics. And a lot of companies don't have this, but it is really, really important. It's one of the best things in my view. And at a basic level, what it will do is it will show you, if I go in here and look at performance and tick some of these boxes, over a period of time that you can choose, it will show you which pages of your website had most clicks and visibility, what the click-through rate was like, and what the average position was like. And you can go down that list and look at those. Google Search Console doesn't trap absolutely everything. What I've noticed is it misses a lot of stuff. However, it does give you a general idea of what's going on. So let's say I'm interested in this page, and I click on it, and I want to go into more detail. I want to understand why that page had got quite a few clicks and visibility. And what this shows us is that for this line here, syndicated search, 1,956 people saw that particular page in the search results in Google in an average position of 5.7 in the results. So 1 is best, 5.7 is still first page of the traditional Google search, and 43 clicks were gained. And a variation on that search phrase tells me the position was slightly less people saw that trigger, and so on down the list. But these are all keywords that people actually typed related to that particular page. And this information is critically important for all businesses, because say, for example, I wanted to look at keywords, I wanted to look at ones that had higher levels of people searching for them and visibility. I might think, okay, that's interesting. There were quite a few people searching on that precise phrase, and the page triggered in the results, but lower in the positioning. And even these, position 5, 6, 4, if I really wanted to get high visibility of that page of the website, I could look at this and then start to work on things that are going to get me a higher position for all these things that appear. It does other things. It's got sitemaps. You've got your sitemaps that get submitted. You can look at issues such as if there are pages indexed or not indexed and what the challenges are, why you're not getting them. And you can go into just a lot of detail that helps you understand what's going on with the website visitors. But for me, the most important one is always going to be this one, which is showing what pages you'll get visibility for, and where are your opportunities for things. I'm just going to look at one more here. Let's say this is one where there's certain keywords triggering it, but the positioning is really poor. If I wanted to, I could do a lot more to get that higher in the results. So that's Google Search Console, which is free. Let's have a look at Microsoft Clarity, which is another essential tool. This again is free. And I'm looking over a 30-day period. And this lets us get extremely granular into what's going on with website visitors. And if we go to, let's have a look at this page, for example. Let's say we want to understand more about visitors to a particular page of the website. We could do that with Clarity. And what it does is it will show us, let's start with the clicks. If we want to know, if we have a look at this, for example, the second highest click, we can see that 71 clicks clicked in that part of the website. If we look at this, number one is telling us that 320 clicked on what was effectively a button to move right in the imagery here. So that gives us a feeling what's going on. We can look at the scroll. So this is when we want to get really, really granular, where we've already identified a page. And I'll get onto that point in the next tool we look at. When we've identified a page, we really want to understand how people are engaging with it or not, so that we can make changes. So as I scroll down this page, it's just showing you in the middle here the percentage of people that got that far down that page. Now, if there was information further down that page and they weren't getting to it for whatever reason, like in this case, a price list, if only, 3/4 of people are getting that far down the page, then no, not even 3/4, sorry, a quarter of people getting down that far the page, then it's those things aren't going to get clicked on. So that should be a concern. So that's the scrolling. Something else you can do is you can go to look at the recordings, and this shows you the recordings of each individual visitor who went to that page of the website. And so I'm going to click on this one. And what it's going to show us, this is someone on a desktop device, a PC, and this is what it's telling us, how long they're on the website, what they did, what they clicked on. This is them scrolling. In the middle there, you see that's their mouse and how they're moving through that page. And if they click on anything, you can see that down the bottom here, what they clicked on at various points. You can jump forward on here if you want to, and it will show you that information. And it's just extremely insightful to get a feeling for how people are going through each page part of your website. It doesn't just apply to desktop devices. You can do it on mobile as well. Let's have a look at this one. This is going to show someone on a mobile device, and when you see any movement, any things on the screen there, like the little dots that are coming up, that's them touching the screen and moving through, in this case, a mobile phone, and what they're doing or what they're clicking on that particular page. This is extremely granular. It takes a lot of time to do, but when you get down to the nitty-gritty of why aren't we selling more of something on the website, this is where you need to go to. And the final tool is not free. It's many people looking at this will already be familiar with this, but it is available on a free trial for 30 days for those who haven't got it, Web Success Insights, and that goes very granular. So like Google Analytics, if you wanted to get an understanding of the people who landed on this page, for example, and you wanted to see what happened to them after they landed on that page, you can look at them one by one. You can see what brought them into the website, if it was Google Ads, for example, the date, the time, and how they moved the website, if they did. This person just went to one page and went no further. So if you were doing Google Ads, you might think, okay, if there were a lot of people doing that, why aren't they going any further after clicking through from Google Ads? There's an issue there. Okay. And as we go down here, we start to see some that did go further into the website, and you're just getting a much more granular view. And you could take that view and then apply it to Microsoft Clarity, for example. You could think, I'm interested in the people who get to a page like this one overall, and I want to look at them very closely, how they move through that page of the website. There's so many other things you can do within here. You could go to, some people are interested in the identifiable organizations that went to their website. If they're in that B2B market. So here's a council or someone from a council who went to that website and what they looked at page by page. There's various ones in here. If you can identify them, it will do it. You can also look at, for those that sell B2C, you can see the home addresses of people that went to a website and what they looked at page by page. You can always go off and look at the location they were at. That's really for if people want to send information directly to a house that's been to their website. That's what you would use that sort of information for. And there's other forms of tracking things. So, for example, on this one, we've got insights into the people who filled in the contact form of the website and where were they before they did that. So this person here, this is what they did as they went for the website, and they got to a thank you page. I just find a better one here, actually. It's probably a better one. This person came into this page of the website. This is how they moved through, how long they spent on each page, guide to pricing. They did quite a bit. Then they got to the thank you page at this time on this date. So what this tells us is that the journey towards the thank you page was there. So when someone's responding to this visitor, they've got a better feel for what they looked at in the website. So it's a very granular way of doing things. So to recap the whole toolbox, you've got Google Analytics, which is fairly basic in what it does. You've got Web Success Insights, which goes to a deeper level than that. You've got Google Search Console, which is giving you much more of an insight into the actual things people search for to find a website in the first place, or see a website at least in the search results, but in lower positioning. And then you've got Microsoft Clarity, which lets you get super granular into each individual visitor and what they did page by page on the website. And that, in my view, is the essential toolbox that everyone should have on their website to track what's going on with their visitors.